Hello Libra, thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Animal Wisdom Tarot by Don Brunk, illustrated by Ola Leola. There's a website for them, cicobooks.com. Supportive Oracle Cards, You Are Clairvoyant Oracle Cards by Belinda Grace. Illustrations by Elaine Marzin. There's a website for them too. rockpoolpublishing.com.au, A as an apple, use an umbrella. Libra, okay. That's out there. This one card, it just kept wanting to come, the honeybee card kept wanting to come forward. So I let it. Long story short, what are we doing? Now the honeybee card, I believe, is the lover's card too. I could be wrong. I'm gonna roll with it on that. Because I feel a lot of good connections here, a lot of positive energy, working to make something go forward. Like passing the test energy does seem to fit here. And you got a journey. Like this was face down. I don't know if you realize this going into it, but there's something that the farther you go with it, the more you're gonna realize this is a long-term project. Maybe a lot longer, like a few years. This is going to last a few years, maybe more than you expected. And I'm getting, there is some freedom with this. I'm just going to kind of run with it. You got Horse, Spirit of Freedom coming out here. I do feel like I'm looking at this and I'm not really convinced that it's going to be a good idea, but I'm hopeful of it. This is going to take off and go a lot farther than I expected. Definitely an intuitive reader. That's kind of why I chose this deck, so I wouldn't get too caught up in the meanings, the static meanings of the tarot cards. But I do feel like that fits there. Kind of like, it feels like this is something that's going to be more long-term than I expect. And at first, I'm not really sure if I want that. At first, I'm kind of not seeing it that way. I'm kind of thinking I'll just be in it for a little while and I'll move on. But the longer I'm in it, the better things go. And the longer I'm in it, like, I feel like this is better for this situation. Your energy does connect, especially the longer you're in it. You're kind of like, you know what, I think I fit here. And you know what, I think I make a good difference here. You're making a good difference here, but at first, I feel like your original connection here is kind of like, no, I can do some good, but I'll just be here for a little while and I'll move on. Especially when you have, this is typically the Queen of Fire. But the nurturer doesn't have to be gender specific, so whatever gender is fine. I'm getting, it's kind of like you are coming into this like, I can make this better. I can do something good here, but then I'll leave it alone. I'm not looking to build a house here. I'll just pull up with my camper, hang out for a little while, then move on and go on to something else. And it's kind of like, well, I did that, but then, you know, I decided I didn't want to go, and I like this house, and maybe I'm going to build my camper up around it. I'm going to build a deck next to my camper, and I'm going to build this next to my camper, and I got this shack next to my camper, and I'm going to build a pool. And you're like, well, actually, this is becoming more of a house than a camper. The longer I'm there, the more I start digging in deeper. And one of the reasons why at first I'm not really sure I want to stick with this long term is because I know what I'm dealing with. And I'm dealing with somebody who, I get that trickster energy, but I feel like it's kind of like somebody very optimistic, somebody just kind of like they want what they want, they're doing what they're doing. You're seeing them for who they are, and you're like, I don't know if I want to deal with them long term. I don't know if I really want to do that. But I feel like the more you understand them, the more you figure them out, you're like, you know what, they're not really that tricky. They're really not. I can see right through what they're doing. Before they even do it, I see where they're going. Like, and it's kind of like I see their fake outs, and they're trying to fake people out with that, and I see people falling for that, but I'm wise to it. I know what's going on there, and I'm not falling for it. I'm just not. So what I'm getting here is kind of like, the longer I'm dealing with this trickster energy, the more I understand it, the less intimidated I am by it. It's kind of like, yeah, I see their games. I know that those games are. I can get around it. I'm not intimidated. More and more good things are here. I feel like also there might be some changes in who is connected with this. This also has another piece of this. The longer you're involved, you start noticing the changing of players. Like when I'm seeing a release, emotional release in the Emperor here, which is the ram. I feel like somebody, I shouldn't say that. There's a block that's leaving. There's a block that's being removed. It could be a person, or it may be circumstances, because I don't feel comfortable saying it's a person. It could be. I mean, it's a general read, right? A person is leaving. See, I don't want to say it, but I just said it anyway. It could be circumstances, but it does feel like it's more of a personal thing. Take it with a grain of salt. Because I feel like something that was failing is going to fail to the point where it's removed. It could be a person. It could be a person. Something that was failing is going to be removed. Could be a person. When that happens, I really think that things very much stabilize in your favor. Because I'm getting like this Eight of Pentacles, kind of like, okay, wait a minute. Now the landscape has changed. We're about to change the whole situation. It's not going to be a total fail for the situation, but when this piece was removed, it's kind of like when I'm feeling the 8 in this situation, the 8 goes into the 9. The 9 is the ending. It's kind of like, wait a minute. The 9 is an ending, but this is an ending that we just need to work through, so that way, because the 9 goes back into the 1. Well, 9 goes to 0, then 1, but still, we're going to reconstitute this. There's a lot of stress with this, but I feel like this is your chance for success. You get to rebalance this, kind of like, oh wait, I'm in the right spot at the right time. This ending is not enjoyable. It's not easy. But this is also my moment to put this back together, and to put it back together the way I need it to go back together. And that really is where you kind of like, ooh, if I do this, I feel like I'm committing to this. Because I don't want to just put this back together and hope it goes right. I know what's going to happen. I need to put this back together, and then I need to, tend to it, tend to the garden, keep it growing, keep it aerated, make sure everything works out, keep the bugs out, keep the varmints out. If I put this back together and I tend to it, this can grow into something much more beautiful than it ever was before. And the Ten of Wands is kind of like, that's a commitment. And do I really think this is a good idea? Will I love this more? Will I find this be a really good idea? And it's kind of like, do I think other conflicts are going to come in? What other conflicts could I have? What type of things am I giving up? Like, it's inner conflict too with that. What other things am I giving up if I don't take this? The Five of Feathers, like, am I really going to win? Is this really going to work out? Because I'm not really sure, like, would I be better served going somewhere else anyway? Or is this worth my time? Thing is, this is ideal. It's not often, I feel, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, that Libra gets presented with an opportunity where you get to reconstitute something and tend to it so it grows properly. It's kind of like, not only do I get to put the seed where I want it to be, in the soil I want it to be, to get the sunlight I want it to get, however much I've decided it needs, but I can also take care of it, watch what's around it, keep, if it needs a pole next to it to keep it so it can keep growing without falling over or having damage, I can be there to do this. This could really work out to my optimal moment, if I can say that right. I feel like I'm conflicted, like, do I want to commit to this level? Do I want to do this? Your opportunity is coming. If you do, I feel like you're teaching a lot to other people. People are stabilizing this. As you're teaching them, they're holding to it. Be aware of that too. Because it's kind of like, you can teach somebody that sticks to the rules like this. You got to be aware of variable, and you got to accommodate for the variable. You can teach them that. There is a pentacle energy here with the Seeker of Fossils, but you can train them, like, all right, if it's sunny outside, we do this. If it's rainy outside, we do this. If it snows outside, we do this. If it hails outside, we do this. If it's windy outside, we do this. If it's a cold wind, this way. If it's a hot wind, this way. If you don't know what's coming, you can step back and reevaluate it. You can teach them what they need to do, because there's a lot of different ways to handle things. And I feel like you can more kind of teach them, like, if this starts going south, you step back and rethink it and redo what you have to do. There is a very kind of like, as it's rebuilt, people are going to want to adhere to the levels. Kind of like, it does feel like something's being rebuilt. Like, if you look at it like a building, so you have the main structure of the building. But if you think of the building like a house, I think this is the easier way to do this. It's a big house, maybe has 5 rooms in it. And there's a pool room, there's a living room, there's a dining room. It's a big house. We're going to say it's a big house. People are going to want to adhere to the, okay, this is the structure. You can teach them, though, okay, if we decide we need more space, over in this spot over here, we have room for an add-on. So if we just keep that in the back of our heads, if we need more space later, we can create this add-on. Or we do have the ability to reposition certain walls as long as we respect the main beams in the house that have to stay because they support the main weight of the house. Okay, this makes sense. You can also, and they might be like, well, yeah, but if we get more people in here, how much can the water system hold? How much can electricity hold to really accommodate that many people? And you're like, that's a good point. Let's right now, how much water do we have available? How much can the septic system or the sewer system take? How much electricity comes into the house? How much can the wires that are currently there handle? We can work through this. You can like help people get ready and look at the situation like, this is what's negotiable, this is what's not, this is how much we can take, this is how low we can go. You're teaching them and they're listening. And they take you very seriously, but I feel like you can really build a community. That's again why I feel like I'm going to get very tied into this and I'm not going to want to go anywhere. The community connection comes in like you'll be a big piece of this community. You'll help this grow, you'll help this be a very loving, connecting, looking out for each other atmosphere. I feel like this is very good. Again, we started right off with this card. This can be a much better thing than expected in the beginning. It's all about what you feel. And I feel like for the people this is coming for, maybe you're already getting involved in something and you're thinking it's short term. They're putting out there that this can be long term and very beneficial to you. I feel like they're just trying to put out there, like, give this a shot. You may be very thankful that you did. I feel like in the long term, especially when I'm feeling Libra, I'd rather stick with something that I feel like fulfilled and useful with, rather than just to keep kind of like move on from it, hoping for better than getting something not so good. I'd rather like invest in something that I know I'm going to appreciate and enjoy, and it's going to have possibilities for me. This is a good situation. I feel like that's this whole. If this reading hits, I think that's the whole point of it. This can be a lot better. Stick with it. Keep going with it. Build it to what you want it to be, and you'll be very thankful and happy. And this will be where you want to be, because I feel like you're respected here. And I feel like, Libra gets the short end of the stick of that sometimes. Kind of like, people just kind of run over you. Not in the sense of like they make you do what you don't want to do, but they just keep sucking on your energy. And I feel like you have more control about backing people off. It's easier to keep people off to the side and kind of staying in the realm that you want them to stay, versus like keeping them off to the side and them going crazy and then like, oh, what did they do? Let me figure it out. You know what I mean? You have more control in that sense. Like I can take a break and things won't go kaflooey. This seems to be one of those situations where you have more of a luxury of doing that. Anything else with this? All right, I'm gonna shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for purchasing a reading, and no, thank you for watching. Purchasing a reading, yeah. If you want to purchase a reading, go ahead, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same reading. Sorry, I live in the country, and when a car drives by slowly, it just gets my attention. Like, why are you doing that? All right, so thank you for watching, and you have a good day.